You're watching Reality Check. Today we witnessed what might be so far the most extreme demonstration of the cost of challenging the authority of the Indian state that we've seen in the past 4.5 years. 10 individuals, an assortment of human rights activists, lawyers and academics known to take dissenting views or of leftist persuasion, were raided across 5 cities under India's anti-terror laws. By tonight, at least 5 have been arrested. The list of those arrested itself gives a sense of the arbitrary nature of the action. It includes those like Sudha Bharadwaj, a member of the Chhattisgarh State Legal Services Authority, a visiting professor at the National Law University of Delhi. Also, Gautam Navlakha, a Delhi-based civil rights activist. It includes those who've already served a jail sentence on Naxal charges, like the Mumbai-based activist Vernon Gonsalves, as well as those who've been acquitted of Naxal charges, like Arun Ferreira, a lawyer and activist also based in Mumbai. Several others have not been arrested yet but have been raided. Those include a 75-year-old priest and civil rights activist based in Ranchi called Mr. Swami. So, now, these are a sampling of the sort of people that the government has gone after, and let's actually listen to some of them describe exactly what that experience has been like.
Well, I basically think the effort is that whatever is the opposition to the present regime, whether it is on the issue of tribal rights or workers' rights or human rights, whatever it is, or Dalit rights for that matter, everybody who's in the opposition is being rounded up in this manner. My mobiles, my laptop, my pen drive have been seized by the police, and I'm pretty sure, and I really apprehend that they're going to play around with my data.
After a medical examination at Gandhi Hospital, Varvar Rao has been brought here, and what one of the SIs from the Pune police said was that he is going to be taken straight to Pune from here.
It's a plot against you?
It's a plot against the human rights activists throughout the country.
But have they seized anything from your house?
They have seized my...
Sir, from 6 a.m. till 3:20, the Pune police kept on interrogating Arun Ferreira, and after which he was arrested by Pune police, and now he is being taken to Pune for more interrogation.
Now, the police have yet to provide credible evidence to back today's wide-ranging crackdown. All we know is that these raids and arrests carried out by them are meant to be linked to their investigation into the Bhima Koregaon violence when Dalit marchers clashed with members of the Maratha community in January this year. The police have suspected that Maoists based in cities instigated this violence and may have been a part of a wider conspiracy to stage terror attacks. But how that ties to today's arrests is unclear. Here are the sort of documents that the police have turned up with, some of them handwritten rather, in either Hindi or Marathi. From one such document, it appears that the police have applied at least 8 sections of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which stands in as India's anti-terror law, including being member of a terror group, of funding and of recruiting terrorism, as well as 5 sections of criminal law. Now, in at least 2 cases, legal interventions appear to have stalled the handover of these arrested individuals to the Pune police. Gautam Navlakha, one of the activists who's been arrested, has actually now been put in house arrest overnight by the Delhi High Court because they feel that there's not enough convincing evidence that the police have provided so far to merit his being handed over to them. And also in the case of Sudha Bharadwaj, another High Court has stayed her arrest for 2 days. But we're getting breaking news that's coming in that the Pune police appear to have got some other sort of order, or either in defiance of the High Court order, are still attempting to go ahead and arrest her. We'll try and get you those details later on in the show. But there has been a considerable amount of outrage to these arrests, with a wide section of people describing them as nothing more than vendetta against those who are taking a dissenting view. Let's start off with one of those, who is the author and historian Ram Guha, who I spoke to earlier, and I began by asking him What is it about these arrests that has troubled him?
You know, I know some of these people. I know some of them personally. I know of their work, the others. I often disagree with them on issues. But none, as far as I know, the ones I know who are Anil Teltunde, Sudha Bhardwaj, Gautam Navlaka have never themselves preached or practiced violence. In fact, Sudha Bhardwaj is a brave and heroic defender of the human rights of Dalits and Adivasis. This is a brutal, oppressive, authoritarian, arbitrary, illegal act by the Maharashtra police, and it is absolutely chilling and awful. I'd like to read out to you something that Indira Jaisingh has just put out.
Yes.
And please bear with me, it will take 1 minute, let me read it out.
Sure.
Susan, Shoma and Sudha, these are three of the arrested lawyers and activists. Susan, Shoma and Sudha are all mothers bringing up their children, sons and daughters peacefully. They are all professional working women, law-abiding citizens who uphold our constitutional morality. Today they are either behind bars or are witnessing their homes invaded by the state. And then Indira goes on. Why? What's their crime? To represent the country's Dalits, Muslims, Adivasis, women, the disenfranchised and dispossessed, question mark. Now, Indira has hit the nail on the head. These are people who represent the country's disenfranchised and disadvantaged. I don't always agree with their ideas. I don't agree sometimes with what they say, but they are all doing so constitutionally through the rule of law. And it's not accidental that these are lawyers, because the state and their corporate cronies, I say this advisedly, the corporate cronies of the ruling government who are grabbing Adivasi lands, forests and mineral resources for their own personal profit, the profit of the political party and the industrialists, want to have those dispossessed unrepresented in the courts. This is what is happening in the Adivasi heartland of India, is akin to what the white colonists in North America did to the Native Americans. It is murder, rape, physical, natural, social. And these are the lawyers who are defending the dispossessed. Now, I'd just like to say one last thing.
Yes.
So that it's absolutely clear where I stand.
Okay.
The ruling government, that is the BJP government in states like Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand has taken it further, but the Congress was almost as guilty. Chidambaram started the witch hunt of activists where he was home minister. This government has taken it a step further. You know, where Indira Gandhi shows a path, Modi and Shah widen the path and make it an 8-lane highway. So that's really what is happening.
Yes.
These are the women and activists who are lawyers who are defending the dispossessed and disenfranchised. They do not want those people to have any representation, legal representation in the district courts and the high courts. They also persecute journalists, kick them out of places like Bastar, and it's absolutely mandatory that the Supreme Court now shows some courage and some spine.
Well,
because
in fact,
this is an attempt through these arbitrary arrests to derail the whole legal process.
Right. No, you're right when you say that this is a legacy that goes back to the Congress, because it was Manmohan Singh, as you'll recall, who said that Naxals present the greatest threat. And it was during the Congress time that they launched what was called Operation Green Hunt. Now, what is concerning here, Ram, is that a lot of these activists today, from what we understand, and the Pune police has been fairly vague with the charges, but from what we understand, they're all being booked under very strong provisions of essentially what are the anti-terror laws, you know, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. But again, it's very vague. It's not clear exactly what exactly the police has found that is actually leading them to invoke that law and to make these arrests.
Vasu, again, before I give you an explanation as to why the police is acting why it does, I want to make something clear from my side.
Yes.
I detest the Naxalites. I think they are a threat to Indian democracy. Naxalites and the Bajrang Dal are on the same page as me, as violent brutes.
Right.
But the people who are being harassed are those who are defending Adivasis, Dalits, women, landless.
Yes.
Against the rapacious loot of their resources and homes by corporate interests aided by the political class. Now, why is the police being arbitrary vague? To intimidate, to threaten, to take Sudha Bhardwaj and take her out of the house when her young daughter is there, to do the same to Shoma Sen, to do it to somebody else in front of their students,
right.
to intimidate, you see, because under our punitive sections of the law which are a colonial legacy. You can just pick up someone, it will be weeks before they're produced in bail, in court, it may be months before they get bail,
Yes.
which is why it is absolutely vital that the Supreme Court intervene, send a strong message to the police across the country that this is authoritarian, arbitrary, colonial and chilling. It is completely antithetical to our democracy, and the reason is they're doing it like this, the police, is to threaten and intimidate. So
Yeah.
no young lawyer, Sudha Bharadwaj is one of the most admired law teachers in the National Law School in Delhi.
Yes.
Her students adore her. But if a young girl or a young boy wanting to become a lawyer sees a brave, upright, middle-aged woman dragged out of her home in front of her daughter
Yes.
on these arbitrary and cooked-up charges, that young lawyer will have second or third thoughts before representing Adivasis and Dalits.
Yes.
That is the game plan here.
Ram, you know, the last point I want to make, which has again been something that has really worried me through all this, is the role of the media, or at least a certain section of the media in all of this. And we know what's been happening to the media over the past 4 years, but in this case, it's been particularly egregious because you've had one of these channels, which I won't name, tonight on NDTV. One of these channels runs some sort of completely, unbelievable letter supposedly written by Sudha Bharadwaj about some sort of terror plot.
Yeah.
This is not a substantiated letter. There's no clear evidence to suggest where it has come from. She sends them a legal notice, they prevaricate, and then within sort of weeks of that, she's arrested. So it's this other aspect to this, which is also worrying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, those news channels, so-called news channels, the media outlets, cheerleader is too weak a word. I would like to appropriate the word coined by General V.K. Singh. The channel you referred to is a prostitute for the Modi Shah regime of brutality and oppression. That's what they are. They are doing the hack work that paid channels and propagandist channels have done in totalitarian countries, which is why the ironical phrase North Korean channel is used for them. But let's not, they are in some ways not a relatively minor player in this. It is the corporate interests and the political class who are behind much of this. They are aiding it, they are abetting it, they are providing a gloss towards it, but they are not ultimately responsible for it. It is the nexus between those who are likely to fund the BJP in the coming election,
right,
and the BJP itself, that is behind the manic desire to eliminate all intermediate levels of support and solidarity that the dispossessed of the Adivasi heartlands may at the moment be able to call upon.
Okay, well, Ram, just as a
and that's why all of us, regardless of our political differences, must stand together on this.
Okay, agree with much of what Ram Goa said. Don't agree with the use of the word prostitute, regardless of which side of the media divide you are on. Before I go to panel, let me just go across for a quick phone interview with Vrinda Grover, who's been one of those who's been leading the charge to try and prevent the arrest of Sudha Bharadwaj. And there seems to be some issue there, as I mentioned, about the fact that despite getting a stay, there's been an attempt to take Sudha Bharadwaj into custody. Vrinda Grover, what exactly is going on?
Well, we have actually got an order from the Punjab and Haryana High Court where Sudha Bharadwaj was represented by Senior Advocate R.S. Bains and Advocate Arjun Shoran and Ankit Garewal.
Okay.
And in that High Court order, which is now with me, they have specifically told the police, both of Haryana and Faridabad, that her transit remand is not to be undertaken unless there is a clear finding that all the legal provisions have been complied with.
Right.
Until then, Sudha Bharadwaj shall be kept in her home, which is on the Badarpur border of state of Haryana,
right,
and she will be under house arrest. And the matter is now to be listed on the 30th. The court has also, the Advocate General of Haryana, through the registrar, has informed the police and the CJM of this. However, in a shocking breach and absolute contempt of the order, they have insisted and taken Advocate Sudha Bharadwaj to the police station in Faridabad. There are activists and friends of Sudha Bharadwaj at the police station.
Right.
I have myself just now spoken with Inspector Shinde, who has come from Pune. I have personally messaged and WhatsApped the order to Inspector Shinde. I have communicated to Inspector Shinde that the Chandigarh High Court has passed this order.
Right.
And I do not know what kind of a police officer this is, who is nonetheless taking Advocate Sudha Bharadwaj to the police station. It is complete and brazen contempt of the court's order.
Right, but just to understand that once he receives this order, I mean, even if he is taking her to the police station, once he receives this order, will he then have to, in a sense, release her and ensure that she is brought back to the house as, under house arrest?
She will be under house arrest
Yes.
in her own house.
Right.
And she cannot be kept in the police station.
Right.
Even otherwise, the law of the land does not permit a woman to be detained at a police station.
Okay. Okay. Got that, Vrinda Grover. Thanks very much indeed for that. Also on the show with us tonight, Desh Ratan Nigam, the analyst, the lawyer, someone who's a supporter of the RSS. Prashant Bhushan, advocate, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, is with us. Prakash Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, is with us. Raksha Kumar, a freelance journalist, someone who's been tracking this story in particular, but also the sort of constant tensions that human rights defenders have been facing, particularly in the past several years, are all with us tonight. Now, Desh Ratan Nigam, when you see exactly what has been happening with these arrests and the kind of evidence or the lack of it which is being brought to bear in actually making them, do you think that the gap between the words banana and republic have become narrower?
See, let us be very clear. A lot of people are talking and making statements being very ignorant of the law. When a raiding party comes, it comes with warrants, duly authorized warrants with sections mentioned in it, and no evidence comes with it. Evidence will come at the stage of a charge sheet when the entire evidence will be produced before the court.
Right.
Therefore, at this stage, only a warrant or a summons, as the case may be, have to be shown to them, entire process explained to them.
In several cases though, if you see, we have actually got a copy here and we can get the camera to shoot this, and we showed this earlier as well. This is how it's come. It's come in either Marathi or it's come in Hindi. It's indecipherable to at least those who are not familiar with either of those languages. In fact, to the courts themselves.
So therefore, some of the courts here have said that all provisions of law have to be met. It has to be explained to them, and if they do not understand that language, translated copies have to be given to them.
Right.
So that's the basic minimum required under the law.
Okay. So is that something which Prashant, you would agree with, that at this stage we shouldn't all jump the gun, that this is all at the very preliminary stage of making these arrests?
No, where is the question of arresting these people during investigation? You see, the Supreme Court has said that arrest should be made only in 3 conditions. One, if the person is likely to flee and not be available for trial or for investigation.
Right.
Second, if he is likely to tamper with evidence.
Right.
And third, if he has committed a very heinous offense and he is likely to commit the same heinous offense again.
Right.
These are the only 3 situations when you arrest people during investigation.
Right.
Unfortunately, police has become trigger happy to arrest people even during investigation. But this appears to be clearly a witch hunt. This is not a real investigation. This is clearly a witch hunt. If you see the kind of people who are being targeted, and targeted for something that happened in Bhima Koregaon, they have nothing to do. They didn't go to Bhima Koregaon. They have nothing to do. That was an event organized, that Elgar Parishad, which is mentioned in one of these documents, was an event organized by Justice Sawant and Justice Kolse Patil. To get the youth to take a pledge not to support this present fascist regime.
Right.
Now, if the police comes and arrests people from all over the country, whose only unifying quality is that they are all fine human rights activists, activists, lawyers, and who have been critical of the present regime and the brutal manner in which they have been treating the poor, the dispossessed, the Dalits, the Adivasis, etc. then it is absolutely clear that
Okay,
this
you're
is a
saying
witch
this is-
hunt to
Let me
intimidate,
respond.
Okay.
silence these people.
Okay, you're saying it's political vendetta. Deshratan Nigam wants to respond, but I have in all fairness to go to the other panelists as well. I'll of course come back to you. I'll come back to you. You know that I will. So just give me a second. Mr. Prakash Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, without getting into the specifics of the individuals who've been arrested, just looking at the manner in which it's been done, the fact that already some of the courts before whom it has gone have started raising questions. Do you feel that somewhere the cops have been trigger happy?
No, I wouldn't agree with that assessment. You see, Bhima Koregaon incident happened more than 7 months back.
Yes.
And considering that they have taken so much time to arrest these people, I would be inclined to believe, I mean, I may be wrong, I may be right, I do not know. But I would be inclined to believe that they collected evidence assiduously all these months. And only when they have got enough evidence that they really went after these people.
Well, you
the
know,
outgoing Pune commissioner is on record as having said that there is enough of documentary evidence and other kind of evidence to nail these people. So, I mean, I would say that police have not jumped the gun. They have not been in a great hurry. They have taken their own time and
and you're saying they've gone about it in a methodical way.
The police must have collected enough.
Well, here's the issue. Here's the issue with that.
Should have gone about it in a methodical way all these 7 months.
Right. Okay. 7 months. But here's the problem with that. And Raksha Kumar, I want to bring you in here. That we actually sent a reporter to look at the first set of arrests. So remember, 5 people had been arrested in June, again under this quote unquote urban Maoist or urban Naxal tag for the Bhima Koregaon violence, and a whole lot of charges were brought against them. But those charges are full of loopholes. Number one, they were accused of organizing the Elgar Parishad, which was the run-up to the violence. That was the accusation. But then, as Prashant pointed out, 2 very senior retired judges came out and said, we actually organized it, not them. Then this letter saying that there was a plot to kill the Prime Minister was mysteriously discovered in the records of one of those accused, except that letter was never submitted in court. It was just orally mentioned and then leaked to a pliant media. Then the police does a U-turn and they say that the accused had actually organized a lecture in memory of a Naxal leader in JNU. Not anymore about organizing the Elgar Parishad. Now they're saying they organized a lecture. And the last problem with all of that, Raksha, with the case, is that you had the Pune urban police saying one thing. The Pune urban police said these quote unquote urban Naxals organized the violence. The rural police, as we know, blamed Hindutva groups. Milind Ekbote, and said he was the one who actually was responsible for the violence, but he's not been arrested. Raksha.
Yes, totally, Vasu. I think the one singular point that we are missing, after about 20 odd minutes of this discussion is that the 2 people who had been named by the rural population, who were the people who were actually part of the Bhima Koregaon march and the protests, those 2 people have still not been arrested, and those 2 people, are kind of, I mean, they're still scot-free. So I think that's one important point. And the second point that I want to quickly put in from the media's perspective is, why are these people, the 10 people that you named, really important? Because these are actually the link. These are the point people that the media will get in touch with, to actually unearth human rights stories from places like Bastar, which are really difficult to access otherwise. So Sudha Bharadwaj, for instance, has worked in places like Dalli Rajhara, Bhilai, and worked in labor movements. And the only reason why we as journalists sitting in urban areas of this country have access to human rights stories, have access to stories of the tribals, etc. So I think these are 2 really important points that I just wanted to put out there.
Fair enough. Deshratan Nigam, I mean, come on, just look at the profile of some of these people who've been arrested or who've been raided today. Sudha Bharadwaj is an MSc in mathematics from IIT Kanpur, gave up her US citizenship at age 18, human rights lawyer, general secretary of Chhattisgarh PUCL. Anand Teltumde, who's been raided, not arrested, BE Mechanical from NIT Nagpur, an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, PhD Mumbai University, management author of more than 20 books. All these people across India, the Pune police claims, is part of a plot in Pune to try to incite violence, to try to sort of be part of some sort of plot to kill the Prime Minister? We don't even know that actually. We don't know yet specifically what these people have been raided or arrested for. We literally have 10 seconds, I'm told.
Let me tell you, Jagdish Titler was equally qualified, Sajjan Kumar was equally qualified, Vin Chanda was also equally qualified, किसी के चेहरे पे नहीं लिखा होता. So let the matter go as per the due process of law.
Fair enough.
And everything will come forward and all the evidence will be put before the court of law.
Right.
And if they are innocent, I am sure we must trust our judiciary. And if they are innocent, they will be scot-free.
Okay,
and you have to make a distinction between Prime Minister's assassination and Bhima Koregaon. Bhima Koregaon investigation led to the unearthing of that plot, and that is being investigated. And police is taking its own time.
Police is not just taking its own time. Police is yet to produce that letter as a formal document before the court.
At the time of charge sheet, that is the process. At the time of charge sheet.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. We're out of time. That's it on Reality Check. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.